Marcus Hill had just locked his front door when he saw them waiting. 3 figures stood at the end of his driveway, clipboards in hand, blocking his path to the car. They weren't neighbors. They weren't friends. They were the HOA board. It was 7:30 in the morning. Mrs. Delaney, the president, stepped forward, her silver hair pulled tight, her expression sharper than the paper she held out. "Mr. Hill," she said, voice brisk, "you are in violation. That basketball hoop in your driveway must be removed immediately." Marcus frowned. "Now? You came to my house before work for this?" "Rules are rules," she said. The 2 board members behind her stood stiff, silent, like backup. "We have to set an example." That phrase snagged in Marcus's mind. Set an example. He glanced back at the hoop. His 12-year-old daughter, Kayla, had been shooting baskets there the night before. Harmless, joyful, no different from the bright red swing set across the street or the soccer net left out 3 doors down. Except those families had never gotten a letter, never had board members show up on their doorstep. Marcus's stomach tightened. "Funny," he said carefully. "I don't see you knocking on anyone else's door." Delaney's smile was tight, unyielding. "This is not about your neighbors. This is about your property." The letters started pouring in after that. Fines, threats of a lien, words like escalation and non-compliance. Marcus documented everything. He took photos of neighbors' yards, toys, trampolines, permanent playsets, violations ignored by the board. He filed appeals, requested records, even sat across from a lawyer, papers spread across the desk. And that's when the first crack appeared. The HOA claimed they had warned him months earlier. Notices he had never received. Letters that didn't exist. His lawyer tapped the paperwork, brows furrowed. They're fabricating a timeline. The deeper Marcus dug, the uglier it became. Board emails approving exceptions for friends. Petty fines erased for certain households. HOA funds quietly redirected. Still, it wasn't enough to prove motive. Not until the subpoena. In court, the truth finally surfaced. On the projection screen, under harsh fluorescent lights, one line from Mrs. Delaney's email was highlighted in yellow. "We need to set an example with him." The courtroom fell into silence. The word him hung in the air like a verdict. For the first time, the pretense of neutrality cracked. This wasn't about a basketball hoop. This was about Marcus, about who the board thought belonged and who didn't. The judge dismissed the fines, ordered the HOA to cover Marcus's legal fees, and within weeks, Mrs. Delaney resigned under pressure from outraged residents. That evening, Marcus rolled the basketball hoop back into the driveway. Kayla dribbled and shot, her laughter echoing down the cul-de-sac. Neighbors stepped outside, some clapping, some simply watching. The hoop wasn't just a game anymore. It was proof that he had stood his ground and won.